Moose, and I'm an addict.
Hey, Moose.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Dank Recovery Podcast. This is episode 2. We're here with Faith Hill. Say hi, Faith.
Hi, I am Faith, and I am also an addict.
Yay! Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Faith.
It's going good. It's good to be here, back in, my hometown from coming back from New York.
Awesome. So I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that it worked out for you to come on here. What's crazy about how I know you is that I was introduced to you way before I met you.
Yeah.
Your grandma reached out to someone that reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm really worried about my granddaughter, Faith. She's living in North County, which that means something if you're from around here.
Yeah, that really does.
But aren't you from like Warrenton originally?
No.
You're from
My
St.
mom,
Charles?
she moved out into Warrington. I don't even remember what age I was, but I wasn't even living with her.
Okay.
We lived in St. Charles for a while. I lived in, where did I live with my dad? I lived in North County with my dad. I went to high school out there briefly. I didn't stay in high school that long. I didn't graduate, unfortunately. But
Well, I looked you up on Facebook back then. I was like, oh my goodness. And your grandma's telling me these stories. I'm like, this girl is wild. And I'll be honest, like when you're in recovery long enough, you just like, yep, this is a person who's close to dying.
yeah.
And it's like, man, you want to treat it very sacredly when you get calls like that. Because I don't know you, but I've talked to your mom and grandma now, and they're people that would be devastated if they lost you, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a look that people carry when they are on the brink, like really close to losing it.
Yeah. So I feel like she was telling me that you're like in gang activity and stuff like that.
I mean, it probably looked like I was. I was definitely moving like I was, and had many firearms along with the drugs that I was selling. So it definitely seemed like I was in gang activity. A gang of one, though, just me.
You look like a gangster, didn't you?
Yeah, had your own business going on.
Yeah. I was a street entrepreneur once upon a time.
So it's like crazy because then like I think you were unwilling at that time, and then finally, what happened? Like, what was the chain of events that? Well, actually, no. Let's go back. How did you end up using? Like, AI knows that you started using when you were. I asked AI about Faith. It said that she started using meth when she was 14. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Well, let's start there. Like, how does that happen at 14?
It honestly sounds so crazy now because I can't imagine one of my sisters doing meth at their age, even older than that age. And really, I remember the day that I did it for the first time. I was in an argument with my mom. I think it was my sister's birthday also, my sister Mackenzie's birthday. And I was taking a lot of pills. I don't remember what I was taking, but got all messed up, decided to leave the house and go to see my dad's ex-girlfriend's son. And he was heavily into drugs. He did all that type of stuff. And I went there to hang out, to just escape reality. And he was in the room with the very older guy. And they just whipped out a foil and started smoking, and they were like, do you want? I was like, yeah, I do this all the time. Yeah, like, of course. I had no idea how to do it, so they had to like do it for me. They knew I didn't do it.
I do it all the time, but I might have not remembered.
I might have forgotten how to do it. Yeah, and that's like how easy peer pressure is. Like no pressure at all. I just like wanted to fit in immediately. I was like, sure, yeah, what the hell?
But you know what? Not every 14-year-old is even going to get peer pressured into doing meth. So
No.
what do you think was like different about like where you were at that time? Like, did you skip right over weed and alcohol?
Yeah. Was there? Yeah. Were you already in the club?
I had already smoked a lot. I had like, some drinking experience. Not really though. I've never really been into drinking. But I had smoked heavily, then went from smoking to getting into pills. And, I kept chasing that feeling of, I don't know what it was. I felt calm. I felt at ease. I finally felt like I wasn't on edge and I fit in. And that was a good feeling.
With weed.
With weed. That was the first time, feeling chill. And then eventually I didn't have that feeling anymore, and I looked for it in every way that I could. And yeah, all the bad ways.
Dude,
included.
I relate so much to that. Like the first time I smoked weed, it felt like everything slowed down. It was like I could breathe. It was like,
yeah.
And I had a coworker that when I was working at Bridgeway, I asked her if she had ever had a problem with using, and she said, I smoked weed one time and it made me feel like I was in a whole nother dimension, and I never wanted to feel like that again. And I said, that's crazy, because the first time I smoked weed, I felt like I was in a whole nother dimension, and I never wanted to not feel like that.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in a whole other dimension, and weed finally got me out of it for a little bit. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's funny. And my friends are like, Tim, I think you're becoming an addict. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. My brain goes 1,000 miles an hour all day. And like, I feel like I can finally just relax.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it turns into not relaxing for me.
But then, how old were you when you started smoking?
I think the first time I started smoking, I was around 12 and 13. And smoking was like the culture of my family. Like everyone is smoking and doing drugs, kind of. And I was completely against it for a very long time. I graduated DARE. I got the DARE Essay Award. I got a golden plaque and all these things. Still, it didn't change a course for me at all. And I mean, the first time I ingested weed, it's a very different story. I was really young. I think I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. Total accident. My parents made pot brownies, and needless to say, you can't tell a 4th grader not to eat brownies and not know why.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I can't eat the brownies. It doesn't make sense. So I ate them. And I remember being in my room on my pink beanbag chair, staring at TV static. And I ate like a full tub of yogurt and a full bag of Cool Ranch Doritos. And it was just like, I had no idea what was going on at all.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure out what happened.
That you were stoned.
Yeah.
In 4th grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were getting high and played Power Rangers.
Yeah, I didn't even do anything cool. Like, I was just like watching TV static. Like, I don't know what I was thinking I saw, or maybe I just couldn't figure it out. I was just definitely in another dimension, for sure.
And were you like, can I get some more of these brownies? Did you think that, or was it just like...
No, not at all. I just had no idea that. I just thought maybe... I don't know, like maybe this is a part of life where you're in 4th grade and you just start feeling weird things. Like I didn't really associate it with the brownies at first. I know the brownies tasted like a little sus, like a little different. But no, I didn't associate it until like a long time after.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're like much older and you're like, wait, I was stoned.
Yeah.
Back in 4th grade.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, so was there any other times before that?
I think I might have had some alcohol, like at some parties. My mom used to throw some parties, and I'd take a sip and just be disgusted. Like, ugh, it tastes like perfume poison. Why are you drinking that? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a time where I went to go take a big old chug of my soda, and it was full of cigarette butts. That messed me up. That really messed me up. It's disgusting.
So now you're 14, you're in 8th grade, and people are passing a foil. You're hitting it. How long did you stay up the first time?
The first day that I did it, I don't even remember the chain of events after that day. I just remember being in that room, smoking it, taking a shower because I was just all greasy and disgusted. I don't know, something about smoking meth makes you gross, like greasy and just gross feeling. So I got in the shower, and then it just really hit me. Might have been a combination of the meth and the pills I was on. Felt like the best shower I ever had in my life. And something different clicked for me. It wasn't like being comfortable, chill, relaxed. It was kind of feel good about myself. Like I wasn't feeling self-critical. I wasn't feeling like completely anxious about my body and the way I looked. I always just had a weird way of viewing myself. And oddly enough, I was like, wow, I kind of feel like hot shit right now in the shower. Which is so crazy to think. And yeah, I was like, okay, well, now I have confidence and I need to keep doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how often did you use after that?
So I would hang out with him and do it. And it got put to a stop pretty early on when I went back to my dad's house and I was talking like a million miles a minute. I kind of do now just because I have ADHD. Yeah. Like I have ADHD. So sometimes I just do that anyways. But I was talking really fast, like, and repeating things over and over again and just going into life stories and all of this stuff. And my dad really didn't know how to take it in. He was sitting there thinking, what are you, like, you don't ever even talk this much to me in a full week. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So he called my mom and said, I think we have a problem. Like, you need to come get her and take her somewhere. And I ended up losing my mind. I was so mad that he called my mom. I just started freaking out, cussing and yelling and saying I was going to go sleep in the front yard, and took my stuff out into the front yard and laid down in the front yard, saw a cop pass by, paranoid immediately, went back inside, and then my mom showed up and took me to a psych hospital. And I remember getting into the psych hospital and they had to like strip search me because someone said that I had a knife. I did, but not there. I hid it in my mom's car, but I don't know why I did this. I really don't. But I was out of my mind and I was in the back seat and I like took a knife and like cut into the back of her seat and put the knife in there and like kind of looked at my siblings like, shh, don't tell anyone. They definitely told, obviously. I had to get strip searched.
Yeah.
So, and then I was in the psych ward and they thought, I was sick. They had to put me in a separate room away from everyone because I wasn't eating. I didn't eat anything while I was there. It was skin and bones. Just, it was disturbing and disgusting. And then I got out after maybe a week or so, week and a half, and I was miserable, hated it. I knew they were going to put me in rehab, and I don't know if rehab really helped. I just met a lot of new people to do drugs with.
Yeah.
We were like, hell yeah, I'm going to meet up with you when I get out. You are the dealer. Like, let's get this situated before, So, and I learned a lot more about drugs in there too. Even like medication drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. You ever see the movie Jay and Silent Bob?
Yeah, of course.
They break the glass and he's like, oh, this is tranquilizers. This gets you f***ed up like Percocets and shit. And I'm like,
what?
Percocet, you say? This is something that you could use in You're discovering new terms. That wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is another option.
Yeah, it makes you think of like the movie Blow. He's like, he goes to prison. He's like, I went in with a bachelor's in marijuana. I came out with a PhD in cocaine.
That was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I love the movie Blow. It was probably not good for me to see that movie in my addiction. I was like, I will do it without getting caught. I was convinced. I always convinced myself that I would somehow do it differently. But that's like the sickness, right?
Yeah.
Like you just think you'll be different and you're not.
Yeah. When you grow up thinking you're smart, the rules don't apply.
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to dabble.
Yeah.
I'm going to dabble a little bit. If it gets hot, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever do meth, Kevin?
Never did.
Never did?
No, I didn't. I like drugs that slowed me down. I didn't like the ones that sped me up. I was already going fast enough.
You know what's really funny though? Like this is something that's funny and like unique to people in recovery. If you ask someone like, "Have you ever done meth?" They have to like explain to you why they didn't. There's nowhere else in the world.
Right.
You got a long story.
Or like even like, you ever been to prison? Well, here's why I never went to prison. Like normal people don't have to explain to you why they never went to prison.
It's always see what had happened was. Yeah.
And it really is, it's self-centeredness.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like as the world is really, really, really wondering.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to make sure that I explain because they're really focused on me.
Yeah.
Right.
I've asked a lot of people in AA, you ever smoked crack before? And they're like, well, I would have if it was around. It's like,
I have.
you don't have to. You can just say no, and that's okay. It's actually a good thing.
Yeah, I was watching some documentary on DMT, and I'm like, damn it. Because I was sober after it came. I was sober when it came out. I'm like, damn, I missed out on that.
That's how I feel about the dispensaries.
DMT didn't work on me. I don't know. I did crack, hated it.
Yeah.
It tasted like burnt tires. Disgusting. Just gross. But DMT, my friend did it. We were together, and he seemed to really, feeling the effects. He was really feeling it. He told me about how we were like in a spaceship and all this stuff. And I was sitting there like, what the are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel anything.
No
This is so
spaceship.
stupid.
You're permanently on DMT. Like, your brain's tripping right now. You're like fully locked in.
I'm just like on a permanent trip. Yeah. I was definitely in psychosis.
Yeah, you get like a huge dose on your deathbed though, right? Like, or something. Like,
yeah, your
supposedly
brain releases it.
When you're dying, you're gonna get a huge dose.
You get it when you're born and when you die.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done hallucinogens?
Yeah, of course.
Like shrooms?
Yeah.
Acid?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I've never done ketamine. That scared me. Really scared me. Someone told me that they believed that they were a cigarette for 4 hours, and I was out. Like,
no ketamine.
I don't need that at all.
See, when I went to Bridgeway when I was getting sober, I thought, like, I would see tracers everywhere, like around people, and I thought, dude, I'm permanently tripping, and heroin was probably the only thing like holding my brain together. I'm probably about to like completely lose it. Which it was just me detoxing. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But still to this day, I'm like, what if I am like in some kind of permanent brain fried delusion? Like, all the places I've worked, it's just like, hey, we'll let you work here, little buddy. I'm like, dude, thanks for the job.
But then you wake up one day, you're still on that buddy's couch at that apartment back, and you're 24. You're like, man, all that stuff.
You ever seen the movie 1408?
John Cusack?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I don't think so, no.
It's a horror movie.
Hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he breaks out of the hotel room, and he's like on the beach chilling. He's like, well, I got to walk into the bank. He goes in, like all the people start tearing down the walls in the bank, and it's like a big demolition. He's like, what's going on? And they reveal that he's still in the room. Like, he thought he was out of the room for like years. That's how I felt on some relapses.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I thought I was out. I'm right back here in this horror film, it feels like. Yeah. Honestly, it's worth watching just for that.
Every now and then I'll taste mushrooms. It's a weird thing. Like, years later, and you'll get that taste. Like, if you ate them, a lot of people who've used them say the same kind of thing.
They're so gross tasting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you started using it at 14. How long did that go on?
Let's see. I am 5 years sober this year, so I think up until I was like 22, really. Okay. I had like 7 months in between, and then I relapsed again, and then, sobriety. So I'm like 22.
So, like, what was like rock bottom for you? Like, what was that like? Like, what did your life look like? What did you look like? Like, how did you feel?
Well, I mean, there were so many times that should have been my rock bottom that just weren't. And I think the chain of events that led up to my, like my last, like, hurrah was my family had a sit down in the basement, what is it called again? Intervention. I really should remember that word. They had an intervention on me in a basement of a church, and, sitting there seeing your whole family just like crying, begging for you to get help. And I'm sitting there bone thin, wearing like my 10-year-old sister's clothing. Like, that's how bad it was. And, I wasn't having it. Like, I felt sad. I was like feeling it in the moment while I was there. And as soon as I left, out of my brain. Like, it doesn't matter. And it wasn't too long after that, though. I got caught by the police. My car got repoed. They put me in jail. They were like, yo, you gotta sit for a while. And I was only actually in jail for 2 weeks. And my mom begged my friend not to bail me out of jail. Thank God he didn't bail me out of jail. And I got to go to recovery. They gave me another chance. And I got to go to core. I was there, and I didn't graduate the program, unfortunately. And I did leave 7 months, and I relapsed. I got back involved with, old friends, friends. And I realized really quickly that, oh my God, this is horrible. Like, this sucks so bad. It's not the same. Like, once you get all of that knowledge and you really work toward changing yourself, getting high is never the same after that.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
It ruins it.
And I also lost someone very important to me, who's like a brother to me, my niece's father, my sister's boyfriend of almost 10 years. So he lived with us. Like, I grew up with him in our house and loved him like he was my brother. And he was murdered. Really, really, in cold blood. It was horrific.
Is that who you posted about today?
No, no, that was my friend, Lucas. He passed away. He took his own life 4 years ago today, actually. But my James, he was murdered on the 23rd of this month. This month's like a really rough month for me because, I've got James, the murder, and then 7 days later, my friend took his life.
Why did he get murdered?
So, it's honestly so dumb. They were in a argument about money. He owed James money, and he was under the impression that, they were hanging out, he was going to pay them, everything was going to be cool, and the guy ended up shooting him 6 times and dragging him into a field and giving him a shallow grave and leaving him there.
Wow. And you were sober when that happened?
No.
That was during your relapse?
Yeah, that was during, I was bad, and I got a call the next day because that's when he was found. I don't think I'll ever forget that day. I don't think I've ever let out like such a guttural scream in my life. I just was screaming the word no. I couldn't say anything else. My mom called me, told me, and I couldn't handle it. So, and then that's shortly after I got arrested and was in jail. So I had to be sober and sit and think about that. And I realized that I didn't want that to be me. I didn't want my family to get that call for me because they've gotten many calls. I'm in the hospital. I had a seizure. I tried to kill myself. And thankfully, I'm still here. I was revived. I was really upset about it too. So dumb. There's a lot of instances where I should have really thought about it, but that was the last time. Even the time I tried to take my own life, it wasn't that wake-up call for me. I just wanted so badly not to exist.
Right. Man, that's the hard stuff though, They talk about living life on life's terms once you get sober, and the terms aren't always the best, People die, people that you love and care about. You lose jobs, you lose relationships, and it's like, so for you, that's the first death. The second death, you were totally sober when that happened.
Totally sober for that. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. But that made me realize that if I can get through this, I really can take on anything, because that loss.
And what was your life rooted in? When you lose somebody that close to you, especially while you're sober, you have to have something you're holding on to, some way of life that you're moving towards. I
was heavily doing social media starting out at that time, and Lucas was my biggest supporter. He's the first person who bought, a piece of merch off me. And he was so excited, and we had so many plans together. And I just remember begging him, just please don't do this to me. We were having a celebration of life, year after James, or maybe was it 2 years? I was like, please just don't do this to me. You're the closest person to me. And then 7 days later.
Did you say why he did it?
No, I got a message from him, and so did his family members. And it basically said, I hope you know I love you. That was the last words I ever heard from him, so. Really rough. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. This is
just like today, because it's today.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Really appreciate you sharing.
I wish I would have been there for him. But, you can't really change it, so it's hard.
That's one thing that I've learned, though, is like, man, tears are poison. They have to come out,
Yeah.
Like, I gotta feel this,
Yeah.
And to if I were to go use because something like that happened, that makes it about me. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the honorable thing to do in the memory of that person, right?
Right.
I go use now. It's like, hey, look at me. Look how upset I got. No,
it would have been really selfish.
It's such a selfish, and as an addict, I had a hard time seeing that. But as a sober addict, I can really see, just that selfishness, and I want to feel it. As much as it sucks, I lost both my folks in recovery, and it's like, I wanted to feel it. I mean, looking back, it's crazy. It's some of my best recovery time has been through those moments.
Yeah.
Man. It's like, that's it. That's where recovery really shows up.
Yeah.
That's where the rubber hits the pavement for me.
So, and that's one of those things, like the losses I've dealt with too, I'm like, I would gladly take it back, but I'd be lying if I said that some of my best growth didn't happen as a result of enduring through that. Would you say that that's true for you?
I definitely think as horrible as that happening, it ingrained something in me, like so deeply. Like I just wanted to be and do the right thing, and I knew that like me living the right way is a way to honor their lives and just be good for them and make them proud.
Yeah. Man, that's good. I was in New Orleans with Ashley, and this homeless guy came up to me. He's like, hey, big guy, can I shine your shoes? And I said, no. He's like, if I can tell you where you got them, can I shine them? And I said, I'm curious to know if this guy really knows. Anyone that's listening from New Orleans already knows the punchline to this. It's funny. I've told lots of people the story. I'm like, let's find out, if you know the answer. And I'll give him $3 to shine my shoes. And so he says, you got them on the ground. And then 2 other homeless guys come out and they spray my shoes off and wipe them off. And they're like, 10 and 10. They did it to my wife and me. My wife's pregnant. And I'm like, we're not giving you $20 for cleaning our shoes. Like, you tricked me. I was like, that's a good riddle. But anyway, then this really big homeless guy comes up. He's wearing a wife beater and his eyes are bloodshot. He's like, you're giving us that $20. And my wife is like big and pregnant. And I'm like, I would have just left, but I'm not going to let my pregnant wife get beat up by this homeless guy or mugged or whatever. I said, all right, here's your $20. He's like, you ever go to college, big guy? And I said, yeah. He's like, well, then you know that when you learn a lesson, there's a cost. And you just learned a lesson today. And he walked away. And dude, I have never forgot that.
You got off cheap too. $20 is good deal for that.
But like, dude, you don't learn anything in life without paying for it.
Yeah.
Like what you learned through that, you paid so much that it'd be like you couldn't give it away.
Yeah.
And like there's things that I've learned through losing my brother that I'm like, dude, what I've learned through that costs so much that I can't just explain it to someone. They'd have to pay the toll to get that wisdom. And man, I would gladly return the payment. I would much rather have my brother than that lesson, but I'd be lying if I said that I'm not on the receiving end of something miraculous through working through that sober.
Yeah.
Because when you use through it, it's like you do pay it back eventually, but you're putting it on credit and it builds interest. And eventually you pay way more than you would have ever had to pay to start off with.
Yeah.
So some people just completely crumble under grief when they go through it in life because they never do what you did and like suit up and show up and dig deep and find a reason to keep pressing forward.
It made me grind harder for sure. It just made me want to be better. Like I really couldn't stand to be around any more death, see any more death, or just be so involved in a lifestyle that ends with death every time, So got a lot of people pass.
They say jails, institutions, and death, and it's just like, dude, it's real.
Yeah.
That's all there is to look forward to. You know what's funny? When I was in treatment, they're like, this is life or death. Tim, this is life or death. And I'm like, dude, shut up with that. I don't even care if I die. And they're like, oh, you're one of those. Well, there is something worse than dying. You could live to be 80 like you are now. And I'm like, oh, that's terrifying. I really believe I'll stay alive. And I can't imagine living like this another day, let alone another few decades.
Yeah.
But it's not going good. All you got to do is use your imagination. It's stories like that. Was he using?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He did go to recovery for a bit at the same place I was at and ended up leaving. I really hate the way that he ended up leaving, but yeah, I mean, it just wasn't in the cards for him. It wasn't his time. I had a lot of people come to that recovery, and some of the people that I sent there are still sober to this day, and I'm very proud of them, but you just can't change someone else's journey. Like, they walk their own path, and you're there to help when they need it, but you just can't, make them do it. You can't make them do anything. So.
Yep, it's one of the hardest things when parents call me all the time asking for help for their kid. It's like, do they want help? No. I'm like, then you're going to need help.
Yeah.
Because they're not, have an intervention, ask them to go to treatment, but this could go on for decades and you never have peace ever again.
Yeah.
And most people are like, why do I need to go to meetings because they're messed up? Why do I need to get therapy because this person's a drug addict? That's a hard thing for people to wrap their mind around. Is like, your other kids are not getting the life they deserve because you're chasing this one around,
Yeah. It's like we're not ready to get help until it gets worse than it already is. It's like, if I had cancer, we're going to want to get it in the earliest stage, but it would be like getting diagnosed with cancer and saying, well, I'll wait a while. I'm not going to go right now.
Yeah.
What, you mean today? Maybe, I have to I got to let it get worse and worse. But, but then the desire's hidden behind like my worst freaking dream, my worst nightmare, right? That's where desire to change is hidden right behind that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
it's so true.
Yeah, a lot of people are only ready to change just right when it's almost too late, or even sometimes when it is too late. It's some unique thing about humanity. I think I watched a movie about it too. There's a movie out there, I don't know the name of it, but it's basically like, it doesn't matter how bad it gets, it's just like it's right there to where it's almost too late, or it's too late where people realize they want to change.
Yeah,
it's so sad.
Yeah, people in recovery, they're like, man, it just keeps getting better. I'm like, that's because it got so freaking bad.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course it keeps getting better. It's going to take you 27 years to get it back to normal. It's like, man, of course it keeps getting better.
That's funny. So you said when you relapsed, you had enough recovery in you. Like, what do you think you had learned in that time, like being in that recovery program, that made it where when you started using it just didn't sit right anymore?
I would say really outside of just being heavily involved in AA and reading the book, and I even got to a point where I was sponsoring Girls in Recovery and hosting meetings, chairing meetings, but it was really the lifestyle difference that did it for me. I was working, I was independent, I just felt so good about myself that it took me away from the fast life when I just felt disgusting and always just constantly in fight or flight mode. And I just remember living in such a good way, waking up, making my bed, being around like-minded people that have goals and ambitions and plans for their life, and going back to being around someone that has no goals, no ambition, no plans for their life. I got so high off of life, I didn't want to be around people that weren't. And the moment I got around those people, I realized, oh, this is like really sad and depressing. Like even being high is sad and depressing. Like this sucks. There's no fun anymore. I mean, it never really was that fun, but once you have that experience and you have a different way of viewing life, for me, I didn't want to give that up. I got a taste of the good stuff, and that was life for me, and I didn't want to give it up.
That's awesome. There's a C.S. Lewis quote that talks about how, like, why do people live in the darkness so long? It's because they have no idea what the light is like.
Yeah.
And you got to experience that. And you also remind me kind of a little bit about my own story too, because like the program talks about having a spiritual experience. And it talks about two kinds. The first kind is like a burning bush kind of moment where you're just like, man, I just feel the presence of God in my life. And then the other one is like educational.
Yeah.
And the educational one is like, oh crap, I don't want to be like these people anymore. Like I just learned that this is not the life I want. And it's like, then you pivot and go on, you know?
Yeah, I definitely had my aha moment where I wish I remembered the day. I just felt so good. Something came back in me, some force, some fire that was slowly dying got ignited again, and I was just on that path. Even in my addiction, I was always hustling, figuring something out. No matter what situation I was in, I was always going to make money or do something or just work it out. And I realized that if I just applied that to real life and do it the legal way, life's good. And I've been doing that. I hustle just as hard now as I did in my addiction. I just do it the right way, you know? I apply it. I know a lot of addicts that have so much talent, so much drive. And, you know, I tell people, are you going to let a crackhead outdo you today? You're not going to get out of bed? Like a crackhead never gives up.
Yeah.
They never wake up like, oh, I'm not going to go get some crack today. They figure it out.
Yeah.
So you got to do that in recovery.
Yeah, you want to see someone overcome some obstacles, you know, give someone some heroin, then put them in a room for 48 hours, then put them in a city with no shoes on that they've never been to before. They'll get more heroin.
They'll figure it out
that day. You know, within a couple hours, they overcome they'll overcome obstacles. They'll get no car, no problem, no money, no problem. They'll figure it out, right?
I think about that all the time, bro. Every time I think of a goal that I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, dude, summon your inner dope fiend. He will figure something out. I will figure a way out to get this done.
Yeah, that drive can be applied to recovery.
Yeah.
And to things in recovery or things not even related to starting a business or a gym routine, whatever it might be. But that drive doesn't go away.
Dude,
it doesn't go away with the drugs go away, the drive's there. And it's more genuine, really.
Yeah. Dude, I love my life today, but I'm just being completely honest. I've never wanted anything as bad as I wanted to get high when I was dope sick. Nothing. I love my kids more than anything you could imagine, but like that desire to go out and get something has never been stronger. If I can even tap into that just a fraction. Yeah. It happens every single time, just like when I'm using. It's going to happen. You know, just got to tap into that. That's good that you've learned that because you really are crushing it. So you jump on TikTok. I'm not much of a TikToker. Are you a TikToker? You a little TikTok?
I've been, it's like, it's addictive, so I stay off of it. I mean, I could get there and then, 2 hours later, I'm like, what am I doing?
Dude, the Chinese Communist government is brilliant at sucking you into that algorithm.
That algorithm is something different. We don't have anything like it on any other platform.
Oh, man.
Everyone's trying to replicate it, but it's just not.
I just opened TikTok 3 hours later. I'm like, oh, man. So you jump on TikTok and you think, I'm going to start a page.
Yeah.
And you're just like, how about I am toothless and ruthless?
So funny story. My sister inspired me to start TikTok because at the time she's like 14, 15, and she had like 100,000 followers on TikTok. And I thought to myself, well, if she can do that, I can too. What? Like, this is easy then. And she helped me with all my videos. And I originally started out my name as Not the Country Faith Hill. And then immediately I hated that. And I changed it to I Am Toothless and Ruthless. And it just took off from there. I started sharing, I think the first few posts I shared was about James and his passing and us going to his hearing, or the court hearing for the guy. I don't know what it's called. I don't know all the terms, but my mom was there to read her impact statement for the sentencing, and we got to see the guy that murdered him, and it was a rough day. It was really rough, and I don't know, I just felt like I needed somewhere to go with it, and I took to social media, and then I thought, I'm just going to start sharing everything. I mean, why not? I just need somewhere to go with it. And I decided to share my tooth journey, and it took off. I was surprised. I really was surprised that it took off, and it just kept snowballing, and it helped me through that time with losing my teeth also, because I had to have like that form of radical acceptance. If I tell everyone that I have no teeth, I cannot deny it to myself, to anyone. So it helped me a lot get through just pain and suffering of something that I put myself through. I did it to myself. No one else did it. I'm the reason why my teeth are the way they are. And it was just really hard for me to deal with sober. I didn't care when I was high. I was like, oh, pulled out a piece of my tooth. I don't care. But when you're sober, you care. You care a lot. So
your teeth are just slowly falling apart?
So breaking off, falling. I barely had teeth in my head when I got the rest of them removed. I had like maybe 8 teeth. Thankfully, they were kind of in the front, but...
So there wasn't like one good tooth left?
No, they were all... They had to be removed. The dentist looked at them and said, they've got to go.
Every one of them?
All of them.
Did you have insurance?
No. I didn't have insurance. I didn't have a job. I had no way of paying for them. And they put me on like a sliding scale fee, so I had the lowest payment possible. And I applied for a grant. Some electric companies, they have like these grants you can apply for. And I actually tell people about these all the time because, of course, you know, a lot of people ask me about dental stuff. And they gave me a grant, but it was only for the money to pull my teeth out. So then I was sitting, after I got that done, toothless, just chilling, toothless, had no idea what I was going to do next. And I remember just being so sad and so depressed. I had no idea what to do. And I made a post on Facebook, and I wasn't asking anybody for anything. I just said, please pray for me. Please, if you have any words of advice, any guidance at all, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm so sad. And a wonderful, wonderful lady named Heidi messaged me and said, it's done. It's paid for. Consider it paid for. I'll pay for your teeth. I cried. Like, I cried my eyes out.
I'm about to cry. That's so awesome.
So happy. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. And to kind of rewind a little bit, before all of that, before getting on social media, I deleted all of my social media for like a few months. I didn't have anything on my phone, wasn't talking to anyone, and decided to take up reading a few books that I really contribute a lot of my success to, like The Science to Getting Rich, Think and Grow Rich. Like I read a lot of those books, and the ideas and the way of thinking that they provoke is really how I changed my life, I think, like to be where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. And I applied everything. I listened to a T to those books and decided to get back on social media. And then here I am. I have my teeth paid for. Things are going great. And it seems like all of a sudden, all the things that I wanted to happen, and I'm following every single word in these books, it actually happened. And I was skeptical at first, and eventually I wasn't so skeptical. I didn't think I'd be the person saying, read this book. It really works, because I never really thought that it did. I just thought it was a really great sales pitch. Everyone's selling me these books. Nobody's getting rich off of them. But I got rich in life, rich in experiences, so many different things. When you have an idea of what you want, you never really know what you're going to go through to get there and what it's going to look like. You just know where you want to go.
Dude, that is awesome. And that's one of my guiding principles in life is like, dude, you're blessed in your humility. If I just am humble enough to read a book and apply ideas that aren't mine, like what can the outcome be? And it's like, you're living in it right now.
Yeah.
You know? Or that humility of saying, you know what, I'm broken and all my teeth are gone and I'm miserable and depressed. And rather than try to hide that and isolate, you just put it out into the world, and someone just like an angel just responded to you. And and who would have thought that act of humility is like why you're sitting here today, while you're living in New York and having all the, like, just talking about, I just saw like the first viral video of yours I saw was one where you're just like putting your teeth in. You're like, look at me, I'm gummed out and now I'm putting false teeth in and look at the glow up. And I'm like, what? This is
like something you would want to hide from as many people as you can.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm just going to show everybody the liberation that you probably felt like, I don't have to hide. Everybody knows now.
Yeah.
So I can just like smile, right? No matter what. That's amazing.
I felt so free. Like, and I could have fun with it and be goofy and just like be okay with it and tell other people that they can also be okay with it. You don't have to feel bad or sad or,
do that with anything.
Yeah, anything.
It's very inspiring. Yeah.
And how many people reached out to you like, dude, you have no idea what you've done for me. Like, I'm also toothless and not as ruthless as you. Like,
I honestly have lost track of the amount of people that I've spoken to, and I wish I could get to all the many more that I still have just sitting. My inbox is very intimidating for me, and I try to get through a couple here and there, and get back out to people and reach back out to them because, you know, they are my supporters. They're the reason why I have the platform that I do, and I want to help as many people as possible. And, you know, being able to do what someone did for me is give me my smile back. And I was able to do that 3 times so far. So I'm hoping to add some more people to the roster and just keep
how
giving.
did that happen? What do you mean give them their smile back?
So I partnered with a dental place for the first giveaway that I did, and she's actually going to be able to get her teeth done this year. I did the giveaway, I think it was last year, but just due to some scheduling conflicts, health stuff, she's able to do it this year, and I'm very excited for her. I'm so excited for her. She really deserves it. She's a sweet, genuine, loving human being, and I believe everyone deserves a smile, but I just am so, so happy for her. And I've also been able to partner with 2 other places. One place, Nuvia, they actually partnered with Mr. Beast, so it's like, oh, I feel pretty cool. Like, this is very cool. And my dad got his teeth full mouth. And the other place I partnered with in Turkey, my friend Brittany is getting her teeth done there, and we're going back in September. I'm also getting my hair done there.
What, like implants?
I'm getting my hairline fixed in Turkey.
Like all the way down to here? Like
right, I'm going to have like right near my eyebrows. There's just a shred of forehead.
Like,
that
like
squared out.
Yeah. Get the box.
Yeah.
I'm actually very excited about it. I'm nervous but excited.
Turkey.
Is
someone's paying for this for you?
I'm getting the hair treatment sponsored, which is just, I've wanted my hairline fixed for a long time. I've been insecure about it my whole life. It's not like a hair loss thing. I just unfortunately was born with a hairline that looks like I have male pattern balding. Very fun. I just cover it though. Just cover it up all the time.
I've never thought that, but
I'm good at hiding it.
Why do people go to Turkey for that? Like, that's a thing. People do that.
Well,
Turkey. Yeah, you said Turkey. I'm like, why Turkey?
Number one reason, cost. It is very cheap there compared to the United States. And I really think if you're going to the right place, which I am, they have so much experience because people are just getting it done all the time there. And also you have to think all the people that don't live in the US that are, going from other countries to Turkey and getting their hair done. It's just like, I feel like the hair transplant place of the world at this point. I seen people walking around, fresh hair transplants all around while I was down there. Also, I loved Turkey. It was really beautiful. I loved it.
Wow. Who would have thought? You're just out here getting all your meth mouth pulled out. And because of that, you're in Turkey.
Right. I did meth, and now I get to go to Turkey.
Yeah.
You guys, no, don't do that. It doesn't work out like that all the time.
The moral of the story is smoke meth, lose teeth, go to Turkey.
Recovery, you turn liabilities into assets.
Yeah, you do.
You turn liabilities into, and the worst thing about me became the best. I have a career because I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that happened.
Ain't that funny?
Dank recovery memes. It's like the worst thing about you became, it's like, wow, I took something negative and I made it into something positive. It was just a fantastic story of that. It's great to hear it.
Yeah.
We're crafty. Addicts were crafty. We just make something out of nothing all the time.
Right. Yeah, you needed a pot pipe, right? You give me an apple, a freaking toothpick, and a straw. I got it.
Yeah.
One thing that I really, I've watched your journey. I talked to your grandma and your mom, but I never really talked to you. But I've been a fan because I'm like, dude, look at this girl. She's broken. She's a hood rat in North County. Just wild from the stories I heard. And I'm like watching you go viral. And I'm like, and I really thought, how long could this go on with your teeth? Like how long until that kind of wears off? But it's like, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And you just keep moving on. You just keep getting better. And I thought, she probably thinks that she's the shit, walks around like, look at me.
She is the shit.
She is. But you know what I'm talking about, the difference.
Yeah, no,
like,
right.
I'm little Miss Thing with the TikTok, but I talk
never
to you.
feel that way.
And
I'm
you're
a little
just
better than that these days.
Yeah. But I talk to you and you're just so sweet and just humble and just I want to help people. And how do you stay grounded when you got all this attention coming at you?
I would say that I do have a little bit of disconnection from reality all the time. I dissociate a lot. I don't know why. Could be just all the PTSD, all that stuff, but really it doesn't feel real to me. I don't even think living in the things that I do and all the experiences and just, the media, it never really sets in until after the fact. After you're laying down in bed at night and you think, wait a minute, this is my life. This is real. I'm actually doing it. But it just I just still feel like me. I'm a cool sister. I'm a cool aunt. I'm a favorite daughter. I'm still me. I just have some cool stuff added with it. And, I just get to live a really cool life, and I want other people to live a happy, really cool life. I think because I went so long with having nothing, I've lived on the complete opposite end of having everything you could want. Living in the streets, having nothing, just really. One time I didn't shower for a week because I was afraid to go to sleep. It was rough, and now I'm just I get excited about breakfast in bed or weird random stuff like that. I'm happy that the apartment that I'm in has never ending hot water. Are you kidding me? I could take a shower for 5 hours and it wouldn't go off. That to me is that's luxury.
That
That's the
seems
life.
Something a meth head would love.
5-hour shower. I'm into such weird niche stuff, but I do think there was one moment that really, really stuck with me. Because I mean, for a lot of people, I guess social media does kind of go to their heads and they get really, really out of touch. And I think I almost had a moment like that in Florida with my friends. And I was so embarrassed. I said something. I don't remember what it was, but they checked me really quick. They were like, what are you doing? What are you even saying? And that sat with me. I really thought about it. And was like, what am I doing? Like, what is this? Like, social media, like, my real life is my real life. Like, of course, I'm going to share all the stuff on social media, but I really need to be present in my life. And I really, really thank those friends for that. And that, I think, really changed the trajectory of my social media presence and everything. Got a good old reality check from people that actually care about you.
That's good, but it's such as another, testament. Like, you receive that. Some people in the whole friend group over that. Like, do you know who I am? I'm toothless and ruthless.
I felt so embarrassed. I was sick to my stomach. Anytime I've ever done something like bad, I immediately have regret, and I have to profusely apologize and like fix it, because I still have, those impulses. I'm still human.
Yeah.
I still get angry and things like that, but I have that immediately. I need to fix that. I really need to work that out and figure it out.
Yeah, ego puncturing, ego degradation.
Yeah.
It really, really sucks when you're going through it. But man, in hindsight, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow. Like, man, good thing I went through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to walk through fire, so I have a
So
fire
humility.
testimony.
Yeah. Humility's hidden behind that, right?
Yeah, it is. That's all good reasons to be a fan still, that you're, just grounded by it. And I think that's the divine spark. Not everyone has that, that there's just something there where it's like, I know where I came from,
Always. I don't think it'll ever, it is a part of me. That is a part of my character and who I am and how I turned out the way that I am today. And I don't think you could ever do anything to get that out of me.
Yeah. Heard an overwhelming amount of humility in your share today.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
I love to be an open book. I say I love to, but like I almost can't even help it. I love to talk. I love to yap. Mm-hmm. And if it's the easiest thing to talk about is my life, because I know all this stuff, So
what's the longest you ever stayed up on meth?
Oh my God. So it almost is unbelievable, but 28 days. I probably had some spurts of sitting up and like doing this, but 28 days actually.
There's those meth binges where you're like, did I fall asleep? I don't know. Like, you can't really tell.
I really don't know. I mean, I probably did black out a couple times, but I never laid down to go to sleep. I was up consistently.
What were you seeing?
Yeah, that's
because you see some stuff.
Ask.
Like, it is worse than any hallucination.
Yeah, you get some weird answers.
You can't like acid trips. You're like, okay, the walls are breathing. I know I'm tripping. Yeah. But a meth binge, you're like, this isn't real. This isn't real. Like, you're struggling to fight that it's not real, right?
Like a week or two in, you don't go outside. Outside is off limits. Paranoid beyond belief. There's no way you're going outside. Shadow people. They exist. I mean, they just do. But I was always convinced I was hearing things or hearing someone say my name, or I always would sit there in my head and imagine all the ways and connect all the imaginary dots of how everyone in my life knew each other and conspired to get me in the spot that I was. I don't know. I was really paranoid. At a point, I thought my mom was the feds. Like that. It got really, really bad. I think it just enhanced my paranoia. I did hallucinate a lot. I got a huge tattoo in psychosis that I quite literally thought was something rising out of the ashes. Like, I thought it was a beautiful symbolism, plant growing out of concrete. It's a cigarette in an ashtray. If that says anything. Like, I was completely out of touch. And I don't know why I stayed up that long. I like at a certain point, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to see how long I can go. Like, I'm going to see how far I can take this. And I just kept, as soon as I felt tired, I was like, all right, let's do more. Like, I just wanted to see. But it starts getting really, really scary in your head. Like, you start getting afraid of things, like almost like you're in a haunted house or something. And there's like demons. You are a demon. There's demons around you. You're hearing these noises. And I don't know. I just convinced myself that I had some type of weird connection with the afterlife. I was convinced of many things.
Do you think being on meth opens you up to demons, like real demons?
I mean, I think really, I don't know if it's the meth itself, but I know it's the sleep deprivation. I've done some research on sleep deprivation just as its own without drugs, and it is really, really alarming what people have seen, what they've gone through. There's like a very creepy study that was done. I think there's a YouTube video about it. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah,
It
I'll
is
have to check that out.
horrifying.
So now to kind of wrap things up, you don't have dentures anymore.
No, I have implants. I don't have my final teeth yet, though. I still have temporary teeth. It's a long journey. It really is. I'm hoping I can wrap it up this year and just move on from it next year. But it's good that I've been able to help some other people get their finals. It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
You know, they have their perfect forever set, and I'm still waiting on mine, but it's okay. I mean, everything works out for a reason.
So when you're on TikTok, someone reached out to you and you're like, dude, we want to use you to advertise. Give you teeth, or how'd that work?
I had someone reach out to me on behalf of the dental place. They were actually trying to get a hold of me for a long time. And I was really hesitant because like my whole identity was like the denture bit on TikTok, and I just hadn't really found anything else to do on there. But I realized that for my own health and the longevity of the bone that is existing in my face, that I need to get implants because I'm going to just continually lose bone. So I ended up getting the teeth, and I did get my finals there after a lot of temporaries. But the finals broke. They cracked. I was on live on TikTok and they just cracked. I was so shocked because they're supposed to be, it was on bread of all things. But
they're supposed to be like super, super, super durable, right?
Super durable. Yeah. And that just, for me, I found out later my bite was off. So it was exerting pressure in a way that it almost was bound to happen. And I decided to go to a different place to kind of start over. I was like, you know what? Maybe I just have to go somewhere else. Maybe that place wasn't meant for me. Fine. But they did. They did do everything, they could there, which I thank them. And I think the surgeon, he did do an amazing job on my surgery. He's definitely one of the best. So I went to another place, and this is why I need to tell everyone who's a creator, influencer, whatever it is, you really need legal representation. You really need a team behind you, because it's not just someone doing something out of the kindness of their heart. I'm giving someone something for free and expecting nothing. No, there's contracts. They expect you to have this posted, do this, hashtag this. Like, they're also getting something in return. And I have pretty good ROI in the dental world. So it's not like they are not getting nothing. And I feel like I kind of got played. But moving forward from that, I'm going to do things the right way. Hopefully this next time I've got legal representation. I've got, things set to where hopefully whatever works out for me, it'll happen in the right way. It won't be, I'm hyping this place up, I'm going to get my finals, and then ultimately the place is like, we really just can't make you happy. We can't work with you. What do you mean you can't work with me? After I've gotten 10, 20 people in there to get a $50,000 procedure, you can't? Whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, thank you for coming out today. It's been awesome, getting to know you and hearing your story, How can people find you?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me. And secondly, every one of my socials is Faith Hill is me, besides my TikTok. That is, I am toothless and ruthless through and through. So, yeah.
Well, that was Faith's story. So this is episode 2. So whether you're newly sober or you've been sober a long time, there's something for you here. Thanks for checking us out.